After finishing off the interior, I was still left with a couple of the exterior parts that needed a bit of attention and paint before I could start the final assembly. So they were sanded a bit and then moved into the spray booth to be coated with a couple coats of primer. I'm using some Tamiya gray primer from a spray can, as that works really well on resin, and then let that dry for about 30 minutes to an hour before moving on to painting that all black. Instead of going with red calipers or even black or silver, I decided to go with blue calipers. Now, I believe this is candy apple blue from Lamborghini, but as you can see, the bottle on the left does not have a label on it anymore, and I honestly have no clue what else it could be. In any case, I thought it looked really cool and was a great color to be used on calipers, so I decided to go with it. The wheels were painted in a metallic black, and then along with all the other components that I just painted, I gave them a coat of nice glossy clear. So as I've mentioned during the unboxing and also the assembly and detailing of the interior, the engine piece is molded into the back half of the interior tub. Not a big deal, as pretty much none of it will be seen once all the engine covers and the body have been put onto it. In any case, I decided to paint it silver with a brush just to give it a bit of color, and then later on add a bit of a wash with some Panelline accent color just to make it not look as clean and shiny. With pretty much the final detail painting now done, I could move on to test fitting the windows, and after test fitting just glue them in, as they fit perfectly into place and did not need any adjustment. With the toothpick, I then carefully apply a little bit of glue on a couple of the corners where the glass needs to be placed, and then put the glass in, keep it in place for a couple of seconds until the glue dries. Once all of the windows were glued in place and set, I could move on to gluing in the dashboard from the inside, and then also tried placing the lower half of the dashboard in. However, the steering column was a bit too long, and therefore it did not allow for the piece to slide in, so I had to modify it a little bit in order to glue it all together. Once all of the pieces on the inside of the body were all mounted and also the ones on the inside of the engine bay were done, I could move on to putting this one into the body and start the final assembly on the exterior. The headlights also needed a bit more detail to be added to it. They were painted gloss black when I clear coated the body, but now I needed to add some of the strips for the LEDs, and I'm just doing that with a toothpick and some silver paints. There were then a lot of photo etch pieces that needed to be placed for all of the indicators and reflectors, and also a couple of the grills on the rear. With the exhaust tips in place, I could move on to detailing out the disc brakes by adding a couple more of the photo etch pieces, gluing the calipers on and assembling that together with the wheels, the tires, and then finally putting that onto the body. The paint on the headlight buckets had now dried, so I could put on a little bit of glue and then put the lenses in place as well. After putting all of the logos on, some of the final decals, I could move on to peeling off all of the protective plastic on the clear parts itself. And then the final two pieces could be glued on as well, the windscreen wipers.